All right, welcome ladies and gentlemen to week number 88. My name is Mr. McLogan, and this is Open Live Q&A, where I go ahead and take your questions after we go ahead and talk about that one skill that I think you can use to improve your math understanding this year. So welcome. Thanks to you so much, guys, for joining in on this Labor Day weekend. As we are beginning, more and more of you I know are starting your school, you're getting prepped, you're going back to school. You've already had maybe a couple of weeks. So it is awesome to see each and every one of you guys adding in there. And I am happy again to be here to answer your questions. Again, all of these questions that are being submitted up to that we're going to cover tonight have been pre-submitted by me. Oops, let's actually go through on that. Apologize from there. No, not that. There we go. All of these questions have been pre-submitted to me, using the chat in the link in the chat. It's also in the description. And also if I do not get your question tonight, or you have other questions that kind of come in, then you can definitely go ahead and submit them during the you can also go ahead and submit those questions using the Discord, which I am hoping and thinking that the Discord is going to be a huge help to many of you throughout this year. As you get those questions, you know, you're working on a Wednesday night or a Saturday night and you're like, hey, I need some immediate help, or I need some people to help me out. That is something that we are looking into growing with the number of, tutors and people that are available to be able to help you guys out. So definitely want you guys to check out the Discord server if that is something that you are looking for some math help, and also just want to maybe, get better at math and helping other students with there. So definitely excited for this. And hey, Math Professor Kyle Martin, great to see you on there. And hey, Charles and Addie and Dula, advice for calculus. I got a lot of advice for calculus. I'll get into some of those. And Pranav, learn how to calculate. Yes. Yes, there's definitely some truth to that for sure. And integral substitution method, I would think it's just doing as many examples as possible. That's when you start getting into calculus. It really kind of starts a lot with the pre-calculus, but getting into a lot of calculus, once you get into those derivatives and integrals, I think the more exposure they have to them, the easier it just, eventually does become. Let's go ahead and get some of these questions popping up there. Is there a trick to get at better math? I don't believe there is a trick in the fact of that. It's just, you can do something that's, going to be easier than putting in the work. And I think one of the major skills of getting better at math is putting in the practice and putting in the work. And one of the skills we're going to talk about tonight. But let me go ahead and get some more questions for those of you guys that added on, and then I will get into the skill that I believe that all math students can improve upon to get better at math. And actually really for anything. You should be a math teacher or something. I think it kind of suits you. Well, thank you very much. Yes, it's this is actually would be my 15th year being a math teacher. For those of you that maybe have just started following me or have just been a part of my channel, this is the first year that I stepped away from the classroom. So you can see this is a bedroom that I am getting outfitted. Eventually have just some more, some things up here just to make it look a bit nicer as a background. But yeah, this is going to be kind of my new math teacher room, because all my videos really mostly up to this point have been inside the classroom. So it's a little, something a little different for me now, which I'm still kind of getting a little used to on that. And yes, and domains and composition functions, I will actually be having, I think I'm going to try to make a video coming up with that this week for you. I have a ton of videos on domain of functions and compositions of functions. I think the main thing is knowing what we call the implied domain, knowing when the function is going to be not defined for a certain variable. That is going to be very helpful. So if you know your functions, if you know your parent functions, then you can definitely go ahead and get help with that. All right. He should play rugby again. Yes, I should. I really kind of missed that from there. And thank you, Addie. Yes, so much for my pre-calculus foundations. That's something actually, crap. I had another video I wanted to put out there with my pre-calculus video, but I'll probably push that maybe to next week. And then I'm going to start promoting getting that going, because I want to get those 4 videos out. Yeah, so we'll start pushing in there. But yes, the pre-calculus is available at this moment for those of you that are taking pre-calculus that want to kind of get that push. And I will have some more resources coming out for you guys as well. So Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see. I got to post it. Thank you so much, Addie, for getting into there. So yes, I do have a foundations, a pre-calculus kind of foundationals course. Oh, that's actually the pre-calculus foundations video, but I do actually have another link for the, it wasn't my description. I might have taken it down, but I'll make sure I put that up there in the next couple of weeks for those of you that are taking pre-calculus. I do kind of have like a foundations kind of course that you can take. It's free and just to kind of get prepared and get help and get ready for pre-calculus. So that will be coming up in the next couple weeks for you guys as well. All right. Do I look like Randy Orton, Johnny Sins? I feel like I get those all. All right. Well, man, you guys get a lot of questions from there. All right. So let's go ahead and let's talk about this one skill. And then I know a lot of you guys have joined in, so I appreciate you guys hopping on. I will get to those questions, or I will get to any other questions that you guys have after I have gone over the one skill that I want you to improve upon, as well as get into the math problems that have been pre-submitted. And again, if you're just hopping on, if you have some math questions that you would like to submit to me, then that I can answer every Sunday night at 9 p.m., then you can go ahead and submit them into the, not into the chat, but in the link that I pinned in the chat, or you could head over to the Discord server where there are many students just like you that are working through their own math and helping each other out. So that is a great, great resource for you to use as well. So let's talk about this one skill. Actually, before we get into this, there's not as many people on here. So we're going to play a game here. And actually, I want to test this out because I haven't tested this out when I have like a larger stream, which really isn't that much bigger. But I want to hear you guys' tips because I have a way for me to be able to see if there is I have an opportunity for a way for me to be able to see or to pick a winner. So what we're going to do, since we have a little fun here, why don't I have, why don't you guys see, what do you guys think is the number one skill? Go on this. One skill to prove. And if you'd like to go ahead and submit your answer or whatever, just post in the comment. I am going to take one lucky winner in the comment and I will do a free 30-minute tutoring session with you on your topic of choice at a time that is agreed upon from on there. So if you go ahead and think, and then what we'll do is, actually I meant to do this a couple weeks ago and I didn't have the opportunity to do it. So let's go and have a little fun. There's not many people on, so I can go ahead and work this out for my first time ever and see if it works. There we go. And then I can take, no, not that. Come back to me. Okay. Let's go ahead and work this out. So, because I want to hear what you guys are saying before I go ahead and pick a winner. And then we'll go on there. So this winner is going to take all people that go ahead and comment in the chat. So if you are interested in having a quick 30 minutes with me, and again, it can be over math or it can just be hanging out, asking any other questions you have, then you can go ahead and feel free to add any comment in the link. But I'm also interested to hear what you guys think, because obviously I'm coming from the teacher kind of parent world. What do you think the one major question that you guys can ask on as far as from the student perspective, which I assume majority of you are from, but I also know there's parents and teachers on here as well. So just want to see what anybody else comes up here with. If I win, will you tutor me? No. No, we'll keep the tutoring to math portion. All right. How to be a pro at math. Meet you live and waking up. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and see this. Let's go ahead and apply. And let's see, allow duplicates, include applies, continue, anything goes. Yep. All right, let's go ahead and go for it. Here we go. Actually, let me see. Can I go ahead and, did I have, share my screen? Actually, let's do this. File. It's actually the full screen. There we go. And then let's put that up there. So therefore you guys can see where I'm going to go with this. And let's go with it. So we'll load up the comments that we have so far from this live stream. There's no way there's been that many comments. What the heck has been going on? Was this the same one? I have not had this many comments. What the heck is going on? That's weird. Okay. There's no way there's been, this thing is wrong. No, you don't have to pick on link. All you have to do is make a comment. Pick a winner. So 23 comments, I guess. All right, whatever. So let's go ahead and take a look at the winner. And the winner is Sauce Obama. I don't even remember seeing if I could see you, Sauce Obama. Did you have any comments on this one? Or maybe this is like an old, I wonder if this is share. Let me see. Hold on. Let me check this. That must be like in all of mine or something. Sauce Obama, if you're on this, I'll definitely honor this if you're on this chat. But I don't think you are because I don't think I saw anything from there. So let's go ahead and do that again. Let's try maybe use this length. All right, we got any more comments? There you go. Let's do it. Oh, come on. All right. Didn't load any more comments. That's weird. So that's a share linked. All right. All right. Whatever. Sauce Obama, are you on this thing? I don't think I've ever seen you from on here. So I guess if you are, then go ahead and let me know, or DM me please in DM me in Discord, and I will go ahead and honor that. Let's go ahead and reload this. Let's try it last time. Anything goes. Okay, so I'm going to go from there. If I see Sauce Obama, I will add on to you. Make sure you DM me in Discord, and we'll go from there. All right, let's go ahead and... So I still never even talked about what is his one skill to improve. So he was in the... I know, that's what I said. He was in the last stream. So I don't know. It's so weird. And then this one, now it's not allowing the comments. So what the heck? Come on. So weird. Oh, it's like... That's really weird. Now it's like having an issue with its like domain. All right, guys. Well, I'm glad I tested that out for this live stream. We'll check that out again next week, so don't worry about that. No, it works for the live stream, and so I don't know. That's really weird. It worked on there, so I don't know. I'll go ahead and test that out again. We'll no, it does work for a live stream because I've seen it. That was one thing I wanted to test out. So yeah, he supposedly he's the winner, but I don't know. We'll see if he maybe watches the replay. Doubt it. But he can definitely go ahead and link up for me from there. Let's see. Pick a winner. That's just so weird. Why did it pick all those up? I just want to try. Now I'm like so mad because I want to try this again. But I know also I want to get to the rest of you guys' questions and everything like that. So I probably should move on. So we'll just try this one more time. Keyword filter. Top rated comments. No. Yeah, it's so weird. Okay. So, all right. I'm seeing some of you guys having some questions. And guess what? The one skill I think you guys improve is asking questions. Just ask questions. Now, there is a couple, not just asking questions. A lot of people think, oh, asking questions, that's easy. Yeah, that's basic. Of course you got to ask questions. No. Here's my point with asking questions. It's not just asking questions when you're confused. Obviously, everybody knows that you should be asking questions when you don't understand something, right? But a lot of times that I think one of the key phrases that I always like to say, or I always like to include is like, one, be curious. You should always be like, curious of what you're learning, why things work, how things work, and everything else. Don't just assume that, oh, well, this is in the textbook, or this is what my teacher's writing on the board. This is why things are. Be curious, ask questions, dig deeper. And that's going to help you with your understanding of math. It's going to help you in any field that you are studying or anything that you are really doing. Like, you just shouldn't accept the status quo of anything that you are learning, especially when a grade or money is at stake. Ask the questions. Ask, why are we doing this? How does this work? Let me see. What else do I need to know? How is this connected to what I already know? Or how is this connected to what we already learned? Ask those types of questions. Try to dig deeper. Yes, of course you have to ask questions when you don't understand something. And I think this is one of the things, the reason why this came up to me, because I was thinking about so many of you are going back to schools with masks. And I was having a conversation with, another, I couldn't remember if it was a teacher or a parent. And we were talking about, one of the harder, difficult things about teaching last year. And I thought it was really that the ability to not have the nonverbal cues between that teacher and the student relationship. And a lot of times when I would be teaching, I could rely on those nonverbal cues to understand if I needed to probe deeper, if I needed to slow down, if I needed to re-say something or do an easier or harder example. And I think that when students had math, it was very difficult to really gauge where students were at. And I also felt it was very easy for students to kind of stay behind the mask and not feel like they had to stay questions, because they know that, a lot of times they couldn't have a poker face, right? And I could read into what they were thinking, what they wanted to say, just with those nonverbal cues. So I think it's really important that if you, especially for now, if we're behind mask or if you're online, that you really make sure that you realize that when you're not understanding something, you have to step up. You have to make sure you're asking those questions. And I know that it becomes even more difficult when you don't have that relationship with your teacher or the relationship with other students in your class, and you don't want to feel stupid. You don't want to feel like you are the only student that doesn't understand things, but because I definitely get it. I was in that position as well as a student, but make sure that you find the opportunity that you can to make sure that you are, asking questions, and asking questions to get the answers that you need to get help. And I think that's one of the big things that I see with students, even in my pre-calc, even when I teach my upper level classes, a lot of students, they don't want to ask questions because they don't want to feel stupid. Like, they feel like they've already known, been successful in math, and they never had to ask questions before. So if they now have to start asking questions, they're not smart enough to be in the class, or they're not as smart as their friends or whatever else. And I don't want you to feel like you need to equate the number of questions you should be asking with how smart you are or should be. So that's my skill that I want you to improve on. Ask questions, 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 questions. I can't tell you how many times I've had students that try to get out of my class. They've said, oh, I don't understand Mr. McLogan, and, whatever else is maybe the case. And they say, I want to switch classes. And, a lot of times I will, depending on depending on where we're at with the class and the kid's grade and, what I see, I either like approve it. And I always feel like I'm pretty generous when I feel like it's not a good fit for the student, and say, hey, yes, I agree. Like, the student should not be in class, or it's not a good fit for this year. But a lot of times, if a student doesn't ask questions, or I don't feel like the student has put in the effort that I could really accurately gauge where they're at, then I will deny the request. I'll say, hey, no, for me to really understand where the student is at, I need to see more questions. I need the student to stay after school, ask questions, come in class, ask questions, stay after class, ask questions, like whatever may be the case. But I need to have a better gauge of where the student is at, or what they're having trouble with. Because a lot of times, if you ask questions, you're just giving your teacher an opportunity to be able to help you out. And a lot of times that's where students are stuck. They feel like they don't understand things. Their teacher doesn't explain things well. The class might be too hard. They can't overcome what they need. But in reality, if they can just ask a couple of the right questions and they can get a couple of the right questions answered, then that can make all the difference that they need. So if really everything boils down to, yes, practice, yes, there's studying tips and everything else, but ask questions. Ask questions when you don't understand. Don't hide. Don't feel like you're going to be stupid, because we need students to be asking questions. Not only is that going to help you, that's going to help other students, and it's going to help your teachers. So it's really, really important for the one thing actually, I forgot to make this announcement. This is one thing I was going to write in my email, but so I wrote in my email thing, but this is actually one of the things that reminded me of this. I think one of asking questions, and maybe I'll actually write this down because this is going to be one of my TikTok or short videos, but asking questions, guys, if I remembered, asking questions is kind of like dancing. And what I mean by that, all right, but follow me through this. So a lot of times students don't want to ask questions because they feel embarrassed. They're like, oh, people are going to think differently. This is a stupid question, right? And I don't want to ask this. I don't want to look stupid in front of my friends. I don't want to look embarrassed, right? Totally get it. But then once you ask the question and people are like, oh my God, I had the exact same question, or I don't even know what you were talking about, right? I'm so lost. Right? Then you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. And then and then you understand things and everything's great. And I kind of remember like the first time I was at like a school dance and I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to dance like in front, because dancing is a very natural thing. Like asking questions is a very natural thing. You don't understand something. We all want to learn about the world and what's around us. It is natural to be curious, right? But a lot of times we constrict that because we are concerned about others in our class and what things others are going to think about us. Dancing, the same thing. Dancing is a very natural movement. We have music or whatever else, we want to move to the music and have fun and smile and dance. And it's a feel good kind of thing. But a lot of times, again, to shelter ourselves away from what others are going to think of us as we dance or our moves and how we're going to look, then a lot of times we don't go out. We don't dance the way we feel like we can be dancing because we don't want to be put onto that kind of platter, just like kind of asking a question. For whatever reason, at least my history and knowledge when I was a student, like I connected these two as like, these are kind of the same. And maybe you have a similar, maybe you feel similar as well. But again, once I said, you know what, forget that. I just want to dance. And then I just started dancing. And then I was like, oh, after the dance, I got fun. I got to dance with people. And then at the end, I was like, oh, that really wasn't that bad, right? And then there's other people that were still embarrassed and they wish, like, oh, you're such a good dancer. I'm like, no, I was having fun dancing, right? And not saying I'm a good dancer, but I was saying like you feel like you're the worst when you don't want to ask questions, right? You feel like you're the worst dancer when you don't dance, but then you just got to put yourself out there. And I think that's one of the big things. So ask questions when you don't understand. Ask questions to continue to understand what you're understand, like what you're doing, why it's connected, why you're learning it. And then ask questions and be curious, right? When, don't just take things for granted. Like, why are we, when you're learning math, when you're going through your subjects, like, why are we learning this stuff? What is the purpose of this? Always stay curious to wanting to learn more. Okay. And that's one of the things that drove me, that one of the reasons why I had to, I felt that it was so strong for me to step away from the classroom was because I was still curious. I still want to continue learning so much more math. And, teaching math has been amazing with my understanding and with my ability to explain certain concepts. But there's so much other math that, I haven't explored since I was a student. And I want to go back through a lot of that stuff and go and really kind of understand it now that I have such a stronger foundation than when I first took pre-calculus, right? 20 years ago. Like I have a much better foundation of calculus and pre-calculus and algebra and geometry now that I've been a teacher than I did when I was a student. So, those are things I want to keep on exploring. I'm not saying you have to go back to school or always be a student, but you should always be curious of wanting to learn more things, not stay in the rut. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully that was helpful, and Shemia, being ambitious is still good yeah, absolutely. I mean, ambitious is part of that, also I think, putting in the work, right? I mean, always striving to be your best, putting in the work, putting in practice is very skilled. Like there's a lot that you can be, there's a lot that we can obviously include in on this. And that's why I wanted to, really kind of put the, but if I was going to focus on one thing, I think asking questions is one of the more important things that you guys can focus on. Because there's so many other things you can do, right? There's so many things that you can do to be a better person, to be a better student, to be a better math student. And, rather than focusing on everything, hopefully some of those things can help you guys out. So hopefully that was a little bit beneficial for you guys. Let's go ahead and get into for things. So I'd love to learn some trigonometry. Well, I will get to that, Shamia, for sure. And Edgar, yes, I will be getting to your question. Sorry. As Pranav said, I like to talk sometimes. And we did that little comment thing. So it took a little time. But yeah, I'm going to get to the questions. I have 10 of them. And so I will get to some of those. I think I was able to get to most of them that were submitted for this week. I just want to say hi to some of you guys that have on. Just as the classroom is so structured and linear, I feel like when you study independently, you really get a chance to discover some very different aspects of math. Yes, I totally agree, Chelsea. Parker, hey, McLogan. I recently received my letter for myself that you mailed me, and I just want to say thank you for following through and then congratulate and move to YouTube. Well, thank you so much, Parker. It was good to have you. And yes, I felt really bad to give you a little follow-up story on that. So I did that for many, many years. Probably I had students write themselves a letter for probably like the first 5 years of when I was a teacher. And then, probably like the first 10 years and maybe 8 or I don't know, something like that. But then I kind of the first 5 years, I think I sent out in 5 years time. Right. So, cause I said after 5 years, I'll mail it to you. And so I did that for for the first 5 years down the road. And then I was like, oh, this is a lot. And then I got in trouble once because they were like, this is too much money for stamps, whatever. So then I had the stack of all these letters in my classroom. So I'm cleaning out my classroom. I'm like, hey, whatever. I'm just gonna have to mail these things out. So I just took them to the district and our office. And it was kind of like after hours, so nobody's in there. I literally had this huge bin and they're all non-stamped. So thankfully the school allowed, whoever went through them, looked at them, was like, oh, let's just run them with the stamp. And cause it was maybe like 1,000 student letters. And I'm so happy they got to you. So, because I know there's a lot that probably got returned, students didn't write down their address correctly or moved on and they didn't get the forwarding correct from there. So, but I'm awesome, Parker, to see that you got yours. And well, thank you, Kingdom Nate. Super $5 for my pair character. Cheer for blowing a party out. I don't see your character though. You getting it? Ah, there you go. Okay, so it's not showing up on there, but you are seeing the super thanks. I believe that's that's your super sticker. Okay, so there's super stickers, and then there is now, I think there's super thanks that they have. So you have the super chat, so you can give me money and get a chat, or you can get a sticker, which then goes show from there, and then they also have a super thanks. But I think when you guys are watching a video, they can do it's. Some things they just tested on there. So I always appreciate everything that you guys send. I thank you so much for that. All right. Ooh, Jay got a question. So Jay says, I think showing students the quote, he who asks a question is a fool for 5 minutes. He who does not ask a question remains a fool forever, would be extremely helpful. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's still, I think, my thought process, just being a student and knowing students, I mean, you can say as many quotes as possible. Sometimes it's going to sink in. A lot of times it's not. And that's a great quote. I 100% agree with that. I love that quote. But I also know in high school, some students have so much anxiety and everything else that they're like, they'll do whatever they can not to ask a question. Same kind of thing like dancing. People I'll do whatever I can not to dance. I'll pretend I'm sick. I'm not going to prom. I'm not going to home. I'm not going to dance. And so they'll make up whatever excuse they can, right? Even though I consider dancing to be the same thing, or like public speaking, I'm not going to do a speech in front of the class. And, asking a question sometimes can be like that too. So I definitely get it. When studying by myself, I learn better than with an online teacher. Yeah. I mean, I think one of the things that's important when studying, I'm not sure if this is the case with you, is that you put yourself in the element, right? And you put yourself in the correct way for you to focus and to really study on things. And I think if you can do that, then that's going to definitely help you out. All right. Well, thank you, Pranav. Well, that's awesome. I know you've been on for a lot. I didn't know you've been on every single one, but that is awesome. And thank you so much for your support. I greatly appreciate it. Through integrate honors for y'all. Well, you are very welcome, Centaur. All right, let's go ahead and see. I stopped teaching because I needed to step away to focus on, well, actually tomorrow I wouldn't have teaching. Tomorrow I won't be teaching, but I've been doing these live streams for 2 years. No, this can come up to 2 years. So at least every Sunday night. And yeah, it's just, with kids and everything else that I have and teaching, it's a lot. So, so that is Bryson why I decided to step away. All right. So let's, all right, guys, let's go and get into some math questions that were originally submitted. And again, if you just joined onto the stream and you're wondering where am I getting these questions from, these have all been submitted inside of the chat, which I have pinned up here. So if you guys are interested in that, if you guys are interested in submitting a question, then you guys can go through that link, or you can go to that link and I'll answer those questions on next Sunday night at 9 p.m. Or if you have questions throughout the week, you're starting school tomorrow, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, tomorrow, whatever may be the case, wherever you are in the world, and you have questions throughout the week or throughout the year, always feel free to go ahead and join the Discord, which is also in that link as well. So, all right, guys, let's go ahead and get some of these questions. Not all of these are actually math questions, so hopefully this shouldn't take too long. All right, have you dealt with Dyslexic students? If you have any suggestions for, yeah, I got this going, okay. Any suggestions for note-taking or note-taking overall? Do we really need all those colorful pens? I think it's all personal preference. I think with any kind of, kind of gimmick or anything like that, like it's going to be, your kind of preference, what you learn. I think the one thing for note taking is try to have, one thing that we've had when I had students with IEPs or 504 plans is trying to have the notes already pre-written ahead of time. I think I found that to be very helpful. And that's something I started doing mainstream in my class because it was so beneficial for those students. And I think for all students that they should know going into class, having the notes printed out so they know what to expect and they can review them ahead of class. So I think that's important. I do think using different pens, at least of having a separate of your formal notes and then your comments, or like special things. I think that is important. I'm not really for sure about all the different colors. I don't know that what that is used for or if I use that in class, but I think there's, some benefit to it. And I think really your kind of personal preference is going to play the most important role. All right. Question number 2 says the fee for hiring a tour guide. This is supposed to be a piecewise function. So the fee for hiring a tour guide to explore a cave is $700. A QA guide can accommodate a maximum of 4 persons. Okay. So we have 700. All right. So we can do 4 persons. So what's it going to do from that? That's going to be from 0 to 4. So that's going to be $700, right, is the cost. Now that's going to be restricted. Let's just call this f of x. Okay. So this function, right, the cost, right, is 700 PHP. I'm not sure what that is. So we have the PHP 700. Okay. So that's going to be only 4. Now, obviously it's going to be a guide, which is going to be, now we could say 0. You could really say 1, but I'm just going to use 0 because it's going to be integers anyways, is going to be less than x, which is less than 4. Oh, less than or equal to 4. Okay, so you can have 4. That's the maximum. But obviously you can't have less than, you can't have 0 because that wouldn't make any sense. But you can have 1, and obviously this is going to be integers. Okay, so anytime when you have between 0 or 4, then, or I guess we could just say 1 because you're not going to have less than 1, right? So let's just say that. I think that would work. Between 1 and 4, it's going to cost you $700, okay, for having a tour guide. And then represent the cost of hiring guides as a function of the, okay, so any additional guides can be hired as needed. Okay, well, now again, the problem is, we don't know how much it's going to cost for the additional guides. So that's what I was looking for. Yeah, I remember reading this. So we have a cost of hiring additional guides as a function of the number of tourists. So let's say X equals the number of tourists. Okay. And so it doesn't know how much more it's going to be for a number of tourists. So I'm not sure what they're looking for. So I'm kind of confused on this. Let's say C equals the cost per additional. So per additional tourist. So cost. Oops. And then maybe if somebody has anything else to add onto that, I'm not sure how else you would know what it is per tourist. Because my understanding of this is any time between 1 and 4 tourists, it's going to cost $700. But then it's going to be $700 plus, whatever this costs per CX, right? The cost per additional tourist, I don't know, $400, right? Or, $500, whatever, times that. And that's going to be for all greater than 4. So when X is going to be greater than 4. And that's the way I would understand it. I just don't know what the cost is per tourist. So from there. All right, let's go and check out number 3. Let's zoom. Yeah, I guess I can bank this bigger. Okay. So this one says identify a pair of segments that are marked perpendicular and to each other on the diagram. Okay, so perpendicular can be marked down with this little 90 degree from this thing. So there's many different ways we can write the line segments. We could write LI is going to be perpendicular to HJ. Right? So we could say LI is perpendicular to HJ because, again, they have that 90 degree angle right there. And yeah, you could also use NI from there, or LI both would work. And then since these are parallel lines, then you could also use this as a 90 degree angle as well. So you could use KM as well, but I'm not sure where the students are getting from there, so I'll just stick with the 1. Question number 4, how do you prepare myself for any question that could possibly pop up on the test? I usually get one method down, but then a question I've never seen before is shown and I completely get stumped. Also, how do you become more confident in math quiz? I think the number one thing is just taking more questions, more practice. Go to the back of the book, do the problems in the back of the book. Go ahead and look online, look at the professor. If you have a professor, they've done past math tests, use the past math tests. I was amazed when so this last year I had 3 years worth of tests and quizzes that I had given my students and I gave them to them. They're online. Like I said, students, look at my tests and quizzes from last year, study them. That will tell you what's available for, what you can expect from this year. And of course they weren't the same tests. Of course they weren't the same questions, but they were the same topics, right? It was the same idea. And again, not a lot of students would take advantage of that. They took me up on my word. And some students saw it was like seeing the test for like the first time. It was crazy. So, go out there looking for questions, practice on there. So therefore, I think the more exposure that you're going to have there, the better and more prepared you'll be. And that's really as simple as it can be. How to find the coefficient of quadratic equations? Well, put it in ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Okay, make sure you put it in this form. You have to have it in this form. And then you have A and B are going to be your coefficients. And then C is going to be your constant. Okay, so those are your coefficients, but make sure you have it set equal to 0 is the most important thing. All right, question number 6. So you have an exponential function, so we need to write this. So you have f of x, we have a base 3. So remember, we have f of x equals a times b raised to the x. And actually, we could probably do this as a c times x minus, h, and then plus k. I don't know. The letters are the same. It just depends on where it's at, okay? So that's going to be your exponential function. And exponential function is going to look something like this. Okay? All right. So right now we have a base 3. So that's going to be b. Okay, we're going to be reflected about the y-axis. So therefore, if reflected about the y-axis is that's a horizontal reflection. So therefore, that's going to be negative on the inside. So my x is now going to be negative. I'm going to be shifting it 10 units to the left. Let's actually work this way first. So let's go from there. So we vertically stretch a factor of 4. So therefore, that's going to be your A is the vertical stretch. So that's going to be 4. We have a horizontal compression of a factor of 1/3. That's going to be our C. So we have a horizontal compression factor of 1/3 times x. So shifted up 7 units, that's going to be a plus 7. That's going to be your k. Shift right, so if you're going right, that's going to be a minus 10. And then reflect about the y-axis means that's going to be a negative 1/3. So remember, if it was a negative 4, that would be reflected about the x-axis. But if it's a negative up here, then that inside the function, that's going to be reflection about the y-axis. So therefore, you could, again, simplify this a little bit further. You could distribute the negative 1/3 if you wanted to. But typically, I like to leave it like in this form so you can understand those transformations. And again, it doesn't matter if this is an exponential function, a quadratic, a cubic, a square root, an absolute value. Like, it doesn't matter. They all, like, all of these would be in the same location. So I'd highly recommend going through the parent functions and practicing putting in those transformations into the functions. All right. Oh, is it not showing up from there? Oh, did I not pin it? Thank you, Addie. I just saw like your text and I'm like, did I not pin my text? I hate when I do that. That's annoying. I always pop it in there and then I forget to pin it. So I'll go ahead and actually do that. Actually put it in here. Nope, not that one. Discord. Because I want to make sure if anybody, I keep on saying it, so obviously I got to get to, for those of you guys that keep on adding in, and let's pin that. There you go. Okay. So question number 7, a golf ball is hit from the origin and it lands at a point on the x-axis 50 meters away from where it started. The ball is in flight. It skims over a tree that is 9 meters tall and located 8 meters from the golfer. I can't remember. I think you're supposed to write an equation. So, okay. So anyways, all we know about this graph is the ball looks something like this, right? And we know that it has a point here, which is 50, 0. And then it has another point here, which is 8, 9, right? Because it skims it or, just touches it right there. So we have 2 points. Well, look at the equation of this line, right? If we want to look at the equation of the line, this would be a y equals negative a times x minus h squared plus k, right? It's negative because I know it's going down, right? It's a downward parabola. Well, I have 2 points. Oh, actually, we don't have the vertex. No, that would be from the vertex. I would need either a third point. Oh, crap. The one on the flight skims over a tree. I would need to actually go back and remember this. Sorry. I was actually reading this problem wrong. Over a tree. I'd actually need to go back to look at this. Crap. Sorry. I'm not going to be able to do this. That's actually incorrect. Well, that's going to be your equation, or that's at least your information. But based on what I was going to do right there, I don't have enough information. Sorry about that. But I'll leave it up from there. Crap. I deleted your question, so I'm not sure if I have it. Crap. Sorry about that. Oops. All right. Well, I was thinking something different than what it was. Sorry about that. Question number 8. I believe this was this question. I'm not sure. I believe that was a sub n, n squared minus 8. How to find the first 4 terms? We'll just plug in your first 4 terms. So a sub 1 is 1 squared minus 8, which is negative 7. A sub 2 is 2 squared minus 8, which is going to be a negative 4. A sub 3 is going to be 3 squared minus 8, which is 1. And hopefully you can start seeing these kind of formula here because this is an arithmetic sequence. Let's see what that's going to be. 4 is the answer. So 4 squared minus 8. Oh, actually, it's going to equal, 16 minus 8, which is 8. So, yeah, that's not working. Yeah, it's not an arithmetic sequence. What is it? Sorry about that. It's not do not follow the pattern. It's not an arithmetic sequence, nor did it have the same difference. So I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm losing my mind. But yes, that would how you be your first 4 terms would be just plugging those in. Question number 21, solve the simultaneous equations. Well, I just uploaded a video on this week doing some tips. Let's see if they work out here. So I have 2x plus 2y equals 3 and x minus 5y equals 40. So you could use either substitution or elimination. I would recommend in this case, per my video last week or on Saturday or yesterday, really, actually, I sent this out. you can use, I would use elimination. So the way that I would use elimination here is I'd probably get rid of the 5. You could probably get rid of the 2. So let's multiply by -2. Yeah, let's see how that works. So therefore, that will give me a 2x plus y equals 3. And this will be a -2x. -2x plus 10y. And then that's going to equal -80. Okay, so that's 11y equals a -77. Divide by 11, divide by 11, y equals -7. Then you can just plug that in. 2x plus a -7 equals 3. Add 7, 2x equals 10. Divide by 2, x equals 5. So there you go, 5 comma -7. So I'd recommend using elimination. What I did here is, since neither variable was solved, I used elimination. You could have used substitution though, and I chose to eliminate the x rather than the y because I had a smaller LCM. All right, guys, last question here, and then I'll kind of see what other question you guys have inside of the chat. So this one is a sum problem, and if I remember the formula for a arithmetic sequence is S of n is going to equal n divided by 2 times ace of 1 plus ace of n. So let's see, we have 51 divided by 2. Ace of 1, so if you plug in that, so ace of 1 would equal 3 times 1 plus 3. So that would be 6. And then ace of 51 is going to be 3 times 51 plus 3. So 51 would be 150, 153 would be 156. Okay, so let's see, I have 51 over 2 plus what, 162? And that's really, I could really divide that into 81. So it's really 51 times 81. Let's see what that is. Don't I have my, oh, I do have my calculator. Oh, well, I should be able to do that. Let's see, that's going to be 400, 500, no, 400, and then 530? Yes. Dang it. No, what am I doing? 4,000. Yeah, 4,131. I was way off. I don't know what a 500. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking I was doing the 8 times the 5, but yeah, that was totally incorrect. Man. All right. Use your calculator. 4,131. Awesome. There you go. All right. Cool, guys. There's your 10 questions. Again, thank you so much, guys, for joining in. Again, if you do have questions, pin in the comments. You guys can submit questions for next week or go to the Discord server. So let's go and see what else you guys have on your questions here before we get out. Mike says, how do I know to improve my proof skills in math? Practice with that. And I would definitely read and look over as many proofs as possible. Like, I think that's one of the number one things. Like, yes, practicing proofs is helpful, but it's also annoying because, you know, when you're struggling with them, it can be frustrating. So I would also look over as many like proofs, you know, in proofs books and everything else to get practice with that. Yes. Carson, shout out to Carson on the Discord server. He is awesome. You should definitely, oh, did you? Definitely, tip the tutor for that as well. He's a great job on that. All right. If I have absolutely no idea what is going on in week 1 of Calculus 2, do you think it's even feasible to say I would pass the class? Well, I mean, I think it depends on why you feel like why you're struggling in Calculus 2. I mean, is it because you didn't learn what you felt like you were supposed to learn in Calculus 1? Or what was the issue? You know, like, I think that's the main thing that you are going to want to know, you know, from on there. And again, the best thing is, like, I can't give you a straight answer for that. Talk to your teacher, talk to your professor. That's going to be the best person that is going to be able to judge where you stand with the class. But I do agree with that. It's important that you kind of acknowledge where you are, and, you know, that should be something that you need to take into consideration for what credits you need and where you're going, to what's going to be your next steps. Ah, excuse me. Really, I never thought in my life that I'd be attending a live math teacher. The only reason I joined is because he's very good at teaching and very simple math. Well, thank you so much. I don't think I would ever imagine when I became a math teacher that I would have a math live stream that people would show up to and answer questions, submit questions, or hang out with. But I'm absolutely so thankful for having all of you that have supported me throughout the years with my channel and supported me with my videos. Because you know what, having you guys on these live streams, it encourages me to continue making more math videos, to continue getting better at my game. And that was one of the, another one of the things that I wanted to, as you guys probably seen like my videos, like I'm trying to improve my content. I'm trying to improve my instruction. I want to improve the number of videos and the types of videos that I'm able to make. And it's with comments like that I really am very happy to have you guys be a part of my channel. And that's why I want to keep on getting better with that. And it's all with support for you guys. So thank you so much. Plug in f of negative x, or look at the symmetry. If the function is symmetrical about the x-axis, y-axis, then it is even. If it's symmetrical about the origin, then it is odd. But plug in f of negative x. If you get the same function, it's even. If you get the opposite of the function, then it is odd. I have a ton of examples on that. Do you teach pre-calculus teacher? I am not teaching this year. I stepped away from the classroom, but I will be offering my online course version of pre-calculus in the next couple weeks. So I'll let you'll be hearing some more about me on that. It hasn't really been a focal point for me this year, as it's been last year, because I've been really kind of focused on the YouTube stuff. It is still available. Students are still in it, but I'm not launching it like I did last year because I'm not teaching it from there. Or I'm not teaching it like every week. So it will be something that you can kind of join whenever you feel that you need help with pre-calculus or that you want to follow the class. Could I do a lesson on for rational expression? For rational expressions, do you state the restrictions even if they don't say to in the prompt? No, I don't think so. I think it's kind of weird. I see a lot of textbooks are different on that. I would definitely just check with your teacher on that. I used to not. It was like assumed that like whenever x, it cannot be divided by 0. But I think it's just more mathematical to write the restrictions rather than just always say that's implied, from on there. But I definitely think it is also goes into what your teacher is expecting and what the question is referring to. Yeah, see, there's always photo math. Well, you are very welcome, Angela. I'm so happy to be able to help you out. This question. Everyone, I want to get your thoughts on taking breaks from math. I'm a math major and was curious if taking time away from math is okay. I think it's perfectly fine. There's, one of the big things I'm really, really head set on, you guys, math is not a race. It's not a race. It's a lifelong journey, if you want it to be. It doesn't have to be. But, don't feel like you have to, take a certain class at a certain age or, get something like you have plenty of time and do what you feel right. Maybe math is the right path for you. Maybe it's not. Maybe you need more time. Maybe you don't, it's, do what you kind of feel is the right path for you. And, if you feel like it's kind of stressing you out and it's overwhelming you and it's too much, then yeah, take a step back. I mean, that's just the natural thing. Listen to your body, listen to your brain, and you can continue studying on your own. You can continue watching YouTube videos, or take an online course and just kind of doing it slowly without the stress and the demands of actually being in class. And then if you feel like, hey, I want to continue this, then go back to it for sure. Kronk, I got to go back and get your super chat. I saw that. You have so many tests. Do you know if you have any videos about piecewise functions? Well, yes, I did. I have a ton. Well, thank you so much, Kronk, for the super chat. That is awesome. And yes, I have a ton of questions. And because you gave me a super chat, I will spend the time during this live stream, go ahead and finding you my playlist for that, even though I'm sure some others could possibly even find it faster, but I want to make sure I can get this for you because I appreciate everything from that. Sorry, my banner might say, no, it's not. Cool. But yes, I have a ton of, actually, you know what? Jack, you'll probably benefit from that. And where is that? Piecewise functions. There we go. All right, what was it? Oh, I did delete that. Okay. Croc, you wanted the questions? There we go. There's 84 videos on piecewise functions. I actually have more, but maybe we'll start with you on 4. And Jack, I know you're taking pre-calculus. I will have my course, but that is not free. So if you are not looking for a free course with resources and tests and quizzes and all that extra bonuses, then here are my free math videos as well from there. So you can definitely benefit from those. No, I want the pre-calculus ones. Yeah. Okay, there it is. Pre-calculus shelf. Sorry, not that one. That one. There you go. That's your pre-calculus. Those are the pre-calculus shelf. So hopefully those will be helpful for you. Well, hey, Mahil. Good to have you on from Sri Lanka. Do you remember focus from DCEPS? Yes, I do. And I didn't focus. Was that what we learned? I don't know. I remember focus. I can't like visually remember what I had though. Emma said, I managed to get a B and a C in my college algebra class thanks to you, to your videos, but I ended up getting COVID and missed my finals. I ended up getting 2 Ds. I'm so sorry about that. But again, it's okay. Just, obviously in your college algebra, I'm not sure if that's the end of the road for you, or maybe you can take that back, or retake it. Cause I know it's tough, man. COVID, that's a bummer because you're definitely like on the right track and then COVID messed up. I know you're not alone with that. I know other people, COVID definitely messed with, but figure out if you want to, maybe if you need to, or you have to, maybe retake those for GPA purposes, or maybe if you need them in for, another class, maybe you have to take after college algebra. You describe their, okay. Karen Sesson. Karen, I actually have a video I'm literally going to record this week. I don't think I'm going to come. It's either going to come out this week or next week. So, and that's going to talk all about pre-calculus. Honor's hard. But I would definitely take a look at my, Maddie added some links in here as foundations, and I'll be, doing some support. I'll be pushing, the online course as well as the getting prepared for pre-calculus coming up soon. So go and check out those resources. I'll talk a lot more about pre-calculus being tough and stuff like that. Yep, Kronk, there for you all year. Do you ever struggle when you are studying? Yes, I've struggled a lot, and I think it's very frustrating. I didn't have YouTube to go to when I studied. I had to look at the book, and I just remember like staring at the book. But then once I kind of got smart, I realized that I don't have to study alone. I don't have to study looking at a book. I can work with other people. And then I started studying with other students, and my life became way easier from that. So that's why I highly recommend, even though you guys have YouTube, you have all these online resources, online books, online websites. I think there's no greater advantage that you can use though, is by studying with and doing your homework and studying for tests with other students, because you're going to learn so much more about how they understand math, how you understand math, and it's going to help you a lot. So I'd highly recommend doing that. No TI, just internet calculators. I don't know, most online calculators, I'm assuming, don't have a difference between the negative and the subtraction. Like I have a TI calculator and we have to use the negative, not the subtract, but I'm not sure about online calculators. I believe they'd have the same, correct? I'm not sure though. Dominic, I wish I could be able to get to this as far as the honors, the BC. I'm going to try working through some AB stuff. I don't think I'm going to get to BC. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to work through some content this year, so we'll see how fast I can do that. And then, Karen, I will have that question coming up. Can you briefly describe the remainder theorem? I'm not sure of Ita's formula for polynomials. I would have to look that one up. But the remainder theorem is basically, like whatever if I have, 3x squared minus 5x plus 1, right? And that's divided by x minus 1, okay? So what that's saying is whatever f of 1 is, that's going to equal my remainder. Okay, so let's plug it in. F of 1 equals 3 times 1 squared minus 5 times 1 plus 1. Let's see, 3 minus 5 plus 1, right? So that's -2. That equals -1. Okay, now let's actually do the division. So I'm going to use synthetic division because that's going to go by faster. Bring down the 3. 3 times 1 is 3. -2. -2 times 1 is -2. Look at -1. Remainder. So you can see that's what the remainder theorem is basically stating. But I'm not sure about the other one. Yeah, focus is a lot of times it sucks for an hour to have through it. Well, that's awesome. I definitely understand. I remember those days, and especially the computers once they had to go live. My computers, and I've seen from so many other students, like the live just takes forever getting going on for that. For this, well, thanks so much, Challenger and Colin. I do not offer the AB tutoring, but I will be coming up with some opportunities for some tutoring coming up shortly. You wrote your sophomore year in high school. Well, you are very welcome, Ricky. Yes, COVID stinks. There you go. Yes, I have a lot more. Thank you so much, Addie. And also I have the mean value theorem as well that you can just look up, and there's a ton of examples that I don't have time to get to. Thank you, Max. Yeah, it's amazing. It's always amazing to look back, and yeah, I'm embarking on getting up there. So definitely looking forward to getting up to the 1 million subscriber mark. Well, thank you so much, Sportside. And what is ABBC? I'm 30. I tutor math, and I'm looking for pointers to help my kids. ABBC is like Calc 1, Calc 2 for college. It's a It's a college placement course for Calc 1, Calc 2. So they call it A, B, and BC. I know I'm not sharing my screen. Just going through things. I do not have proofs for formulas. I don't think I do on my channel. Go back to the stuff you forgot and start working through it. All right, guys. Do you have for statistics? I do not. Yes, Colin, I will. I'll be coming up with some more stuff on that coming up my channel. I think the main thing is doing as many of those practice tests and assessments as you possibly can. So, get started. Once you start getting through the content, learning stuff, start going through the work quickly. Okay. All right, guys, I will end on this because I appreciate it, Nick. Thank you so much, guys. I got to run. Hope you guys have a great day tomorrow. For those of you in the U.S., another day before the week starts. All right, guys, have a great week, and I'll see you next week on Sunday. Cheers.